Where do you think the biggest deployment of CCUS will be?
I don't think CCUS is going to be located in just one place. I think the big challenge to get CCS going is to get clusters of projects that reinforce each other. Now, I think some of the cheapest applications are actually going to be in the industrial sector, where you might find that there's a use for the carbon dioxide that will place a value on it that doesn't necessarily need so much government intervention. But if you look at the size of the loads of carbon dioxide capture, it may well be that you need power station projects to sort of hold the cluster together and act as an anchor load. So my expectation, rather than seeing sort of project by project, industry by industry, power plant by power plant, that we need to see the development of clusters that bring the different kinds of projects together. So thinking about carbon dioxide capture as a kind of a system, I think, is the important part of it, and I will think we should see development in more than one sector at the same time.
Is there a need to rethink the narrative around CCUS?
Well, it would be good to have a narrative. I think would be the question of how we can take things forward. I mean, a lot of people say that it can be done by renewables and energy efficiency. And I think one of the important points that could be made is that all the renewables and efficiency in the world will never get you below zero emissions. And one of the messages about net zero emissions is there's some sectors you can never decarbonise, or it will be difficult, and that needs to be compensated for by negative emissions in other sectors by carbon dioxide removal. And I think that's the message. CCS and other kinds of carbon dioxide removal technologies have to be a part of the picture if you're going to take the Paris kind of long-term temperature goals seriously.
What is the biggest barrier to CCUS deployment, and how can we remove it?
Well, the biggest barrier at the moment is probably that there is no value for companies in actually capturing the carbon. There may be some uses like enhanced oil recovery where the carbon dioxide has a use, where we can see one or two projects already going forward. But for large-scale rollout, there needs to be a price or a value attached to carbon. And finding, first of all, policy frameworks, and then the business models that can exploit a value of carbon has got to be the biggest challenge that has to be faced in getting CCUS off the ground.
What do you see as the most important policy action to support CCUS deployment?
The most important action for governments is to make sure that there is a value and a price on carbon. It's the single most important thing. Now, every country might not do it in the same way. We've seen the production tax credits in the US that appear to be really quite a useful way going forward. In other parts of the world, it might be different mechanisms. It might be a tax. It could be a trading scheme. It could be, as it were, a power purchase agreement, something like that. All of these can embody a value for carbon, but however countries do it, you need to get that value of carbon in there.